So Trump has really overreached in some of his attacks against DeSantis. He's using the traditional political playbook of let me take my opponent's strengths and turn them into weaknesses. And so what does that mean? Well, that means he's attacking him on like COVID in particular, even though in right-wing circles, DeSantis gets like the best grades on COVID because, of course, they're against masks, they're against lockdowns, they're against vaccines and all that stuff. And DeSantis was more in line with their views even early on at a time when not many people were agreeing with them. So Trump takes that strength of DeSantis in the Republican primary and turns it into a weakness by attacking him on that, right? He did it in the Megyn Kelly interview. He said, no, he did lock stuff down. He did lock stuff down. He did have vax mandates. That's what he had. He had vax mandates. They had masks. They had everything. You had some places, like in South Dakota, they never shut down anything, but putting Ron shut stuff down. And so it's politics 101. This is what Bush did to Kari in 2004, where he took his record as a decorated war hero and flipped it as if he was a coward, right? The whole Swift boat thing. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember that, but you can go read about it. It's very interesting. Because Bush, that was a weakness of Bush's, but he turned it into a strength by attacking Kari on his strength. Okay, so this is what Trump's doing here. Well, Trump also has his little minions like Kari Lake going out there parroting everything that he's saying. So Kari Lake previously had referred to DeSantis as having BDE. For the 7 of you in my audience who might not know what that means, I know the overwhelming majority do. Big dick energy is what Kari Lake said Ron DeSantis had. Now, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and disagree on that one, but it's a side point. So Kari Lake has been parroting those same arguments from Trump about how, oh my God, he was terrible on COVID stuff. And there are some people who are still DeSantis stans, like I would say like the more academic right, like the more intellectual right, the ones who are part of like think tanks and stuff. They're the ones who are still pro DeSantis and are not fans of Trump. And so here you're going to have a DeSantis stan confront Kari Lake in the wild. And this gets heated, man. Watch this.
Hey, Kari Lake, what other lies do you get up about Ron DeSantis, Kari?
Why did Ron DeSantis close his state down?
He didn't.
Yes, he
You
did.
said he made mask mandates and vaccine mandates.
Children had to wear masks to school.
You said he did it. He did not. And he fought against those school board members.
State, and it's his responsibility to...
You lied. You said he put in vaccine mandates, and you said... No, he didn't. For like a month. You said mandates. You said vaccine mandates.
You want my answer?
You said mask mandates.
You want my answer?
Did Ron DeSantis put in mask mandates?
Yes, he did. Ron DeSantis.
No, he didn't.
Children wear masks.
You know what I find so fascinating about this clip? Look, I have nothing in common with DeSantis supporters. I don't like DeSantis. They love DeSantis, right? I've been very critical of putting Ron, meatball Ron, DeSantis as they call him. But this is the DeSantis people now recognizing what Democrats and liberals and leftists have known all along, which is that for the people who are still remaining with Trump at this very late date, it's a cult. And they literally do not care about the truth. They don't care. They don't care about facts. They don't care about the actual record. They don't care. In a sense, Trump and his acolytes are the ultimate postmodernists. Like, there is no the truth. It is just my truth. And so when he goes with an argument on the campaign trail and attacks DeSantis on his strength in the Republican primary, that just becomes like, good enough. That's our truth. Yes, DeSantis did do mask mandates and whatever. And look, on the substance of it, yes, the DeSantis supporter is 100% correct. To the extent that there were, any mask mandates in schools or whatever, that was the local school board. And I have no doubt that DeSantis was fighting against that certainly earlier than other people were fighting against it, right? So he's right on the facts. But what he's learning here is Kari Lake doesn't care about the facts. She doesn't care. It's working backwards from her conclusion of Trump is our emperor, overlord, God king, and we bend the knee and worship him. And it reminds me of that poll. You guys saw this. We covered it. Like Trump supporters say, we believe Trump over anybody else in the world. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my kids, religious clergy. my best friends, actual scientists who are experts in a given field. None of them matter. It's Trump. Trump overrides all of that. And these guys are learning it the hard way, man. Like, we told you about, we warned you all about this. We warned you that this is what it's like. Now, remember, you're looking at a guy now. I was the one who told you back in 2015 and 2016, Trump wasn't like the other Republicans. He was running a very different campaign from the other Republicans. It wasn't standard Mitt Romney style, John McCain style, George W. Bush style rhetoric. No, he was doing populist stuff. He was saying, I'm not going to cut your Social Security. I'm not going to cut your Medicare. I'm not going to outsource your jobs. NAFTA was the worst trade deal ever. I'm against the TPP. I'm going to look out for you. The forgotten man and woman will never be forgotten again. Crooked Hillary, crooked Hillary. Look at this corruption. I'm going to drain the swamp. This is the rhetoric he went with. Now, at the time, it wasn't fair to just say, well, all these Trump supporters are just, they're too far gone. They're all... No, many of them were reachable. 9 million of them had voted for Barack Obama twice and then voted for Trump. That's what I was telling you back in 2015 and 2016. But by the time 2020 came around, he had a 4-year record. We lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs under him. He cut taxes for the rich. He cut taxes for corporations. He governed like a standard Republican. He increased drone strikes over 400%. And so when 2020 came around, it started to look a lot more like this guy is not who he was in 2016 in terms of his rhetoric. He's a Fox News grandpa now. That's what he is. And then now by 2023, oh my God, all that's left is cult members. That's it. That's it. Now, granted, the numbers show it's like 50% of the Republican Party that's supporting him. Okay, well, it's an uncomfortable truth, but it's a truth. Those people are seriously TFG. Maybe you can make an argument that some tiny percentage of them could still maybe be deconverted. But look, I'm not naive. Right? And I like to pride myself on being able to deconvert more than almost anybody. But when you look at a lot of this stuff, this is what remains, right? I'm just going to lie relentlessly because it serves my narrative. That's what they're doing. And you can see how frustrated the DeSantis supporter is, who I'm sure he's a guy who probably would give credit to a number of things that Trump did, but he cares about the actual truth first. And he says, no, you're lying about DeSantis' record. She doesn't care. None of them care. It's not about truth. Look, when somebody is a pathological liar, their brain doesn't work the way your brain works and my brain works, where when you say something, there's true and there's false. And you're trying as much as you can, everything you say, to fall in the category of this is accurate, this is true. And if somebody says something you think it's false, your brain realizes, okay, that's false, that's not true. That's not how a pathological liar works. In his mind, he just creates his own reality every time he opens his mouth. And even if it's untrue, it doesn't even occur to him it's untrue. It's just, I said it, so it is what it is. And Kari Lake's right on board with that. By the way, Kari, you're not going to be his VP. Stop embarrassing yourself. First of all, you're a loser, and Trump doesn't respect losers. You're a loser. You lost your election in Arizona. You're still whining and bitching and moaning like you won. You're suing, losing every goddamn case. You lost, and you're still sour grapes over all that stuff. And second of all, you're charismatic. Trump doesn't want anybody who's going to outshine him when in the charisma department. He doesn't. And you might do that. And so that's why I told you guys, my prediction has always been Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, the South Dakota governor. Because she's a super Trump loyalist. She's good looking. And she's not charismatic. That's perfect. And of course, she's sleeping with Corey Lewandowski, who was one of his top guys. So anyway, I'm off track here, but you get, I actually sympathize with this DeSantis guy. 'Cause he's like, you're just not telling the truth. And she doesn't care. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. It's not a fair fight. You're showing up with a pen and paper to do fact checking, and she's showing up with a machete. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.